This is about the Dust Bowl. It's from Children of the Dust Bowl by Jerry Stanley.
What's the Dust Bowl?
You will see.
Okay.
Okay, life had always been hard on the farmers who lived in Oklahoma, and in the 1930s, it was especially hard on those who lived in the Panhandle, a barren stretch of rock and red soil sandwiched between Texas, Kansas, and New Mexico. These people owned small family farms of 40 to 80 acres and were dry farmers. They had no irrigation system, no reservoirs to store water, no canals to bring water to their farms. In 1931, it stopped raining in the Panhandle. The sky became bright and hot, and it stayed that way every day. Corn stalks in the fields shriveled from the sizzling heat. Shoots of wheat dried up and fell to the ground. The farmers were caught in an impossible situation. They were already suffering from the effects of the Great Depression, which had started in 1929 when the stock market collapsed. The Depression caused the price of wheat and corn to fall so low that it made growing these crops unprofitable. Then, when it seemed that things couldn't get any worse, they did. The year was 1936. It hadn't rained for more than a few drops in the Panhandle for 5 straight years. One day the wind started to blow, and every day it blew harder and harder, as if nature were playing a cruel joke on the Okies. The wind blew the dry soil into the air, and every morning the sun rose only to disappear behind a sky of red dirt and dust. The wind knocked open doors, shattered windows, and leveled barns. It became known as the Great Dust Bowl, and it was centered in the Panhandle near Goodwell, Oklahoma. From there it stretched to the western half of Kansas, the eastern half of Colorado, the northeastern portion of New Mexico, and northern Texas. In these areas, and especially in the Panhandle, the dry winds howled for 4 long years, from 1936 to 1940. Frequently, the wind blew more than 50 miles an hour, carrying away the topsoil and leaving only hard, red clay, which made farming impossible. Okay, and here are your questions. You will answer. I hope you're listening.
Yeah.
All right.
You have a problem.
There we go.
What? That we're supposed to have?
Okay, so here are your questions. All right, number 1, from what you heard in the selection, how would you define the Dust Bowl? Number 2, from what you heard in the selection, how would you define Okies? Number 3, from what you heard in the selection and your prior knowledge, what was the Great Depression and what started it? Number 4, put the following events in the order that they happened. A, the Great Depression started. B, the rain in the Panhandle stopped. C, Oklahoma farmers grew crops on their fields.
Oh my gosh.
And D, the winds started to blow in the Panhandle. And number 5, using contextual evidence from the selection, okay, to back yourselves up, what is the theme or main idea of this passage? Okay, 7 minutes. Go.
Go.
7 minutes. That's like 7 minutes. That is.
Then write down really fast.
Oh, I should have like Jeopardy music to this.
No.
Is that?